I was at my local Costco recently and I looked in the aisle and I saw that they sell pre-cooked burnt ends and pre-cooked smoked brisket. After I got over being offended, I decided I need to test them out. Hey guys, welcome to Mad Scientist Barbecue. I'm Jeremy Yoder, and today we're going to be testing out these pre-cooked burnt ends from Costco and these slices of brisket from Costco. So a little bit from both ends. This is Mission Hill Bistro, and this is just Kirkland brand, but I would imagine that it's possible that they're cut from the same piece of brisket because you can get burnt ends from one side and slices from the other. We won't know until we crack into them, but before I can do a reasonable test with these pre-cooked pieces of brisket, I need some kind of baseline comparison. So while I was at Costco, I picked up a Costco Choice brisket. This is $71 for this uncooked brisket. It's 16.96 pounds and it's $71. This is about $25. This is about $25. So $50 together, and altogether it's 3.6 pounds or so. When this raw brisket is finished, it should probably be 7 pounds, maybe 8, maybe 6, depending on how I trim it. But because this package says that it's ready to go in 5 minutes, I thought, well, a reasonable baseline to be almost as easy as this would be using a pellet grill and not touching the thing till it's done. So I, in one long camera shot, am going to trim and season this brisket and get it on the pellet smoker, turn it on, and I'm going to walk away, and I'm going to go inside, and I'm going to go to sleep. So as little effort as possible. And so we're going to see if this is light years ahead of what you can get with these two, then they probably aren't worth your time. If it's pretty close, then yeah, maybe getting these pre-cooked slices of brisket and burnt ends are worth your while. If you can have a great barbecue snack in just a few minutes, like who doesn't love that? Because it's not easy to run out and cook a brisket and wait 12, 14, 16 hours to get the thing done. So first things first, I'm going to put these two back in the fridge until tomorrow, and then I'm going to get this thing trimmed, seasoned, and on the pellet grill. I'm going to use the stopwatch function on my phone, but we'll put a timer on the video in case we speed it up, because I don't think you guys are just dying to see me trim a brisket. But we'll make that decision in the editing process. So we're off. Go. Those restaurant pros do this so fast, it's crazy. Jillian can do this in 60 seconds, but he is a wizard. Get it in there. All right, guys, on the sliced brisket package, it says ready in the microwave in 5 minutes. So I think that means probably 5 minutes where you're microwaving actively and then a couple minutes to put it in a container or something like that. I don't know until I open the box and I read the instructions and all that stuff. But so far, time invested, 5 minutes and 26 seconds. And if I come out here to check the temperature, which I will do in the morning, then I will run the timer for any period of time I'm out here checking on it. If I decide to wrap it or anything like that, I will run the timer. So we're going to compare how much time investment goes into doing a pellet grill brisket versus how much time investment goes into making the sliced brisket and the burnt ends according to the instructions on those packages. So I'm going to go inside and I'm going to go to sleep, which is not something I usually say before a cook. But, well, actually, we're in the middle of a cook. But we're using the PG 500 pellet grill made by Cook Shack. It's got that tray that you can use to basically infuse any kind of flavor into the meat that you want. And it's got a kind of a cool ramp design. But that's not the point of this video. We're using a pellet grill. I threw a split in there because this thing can do that, and I'd like it to be as good as possible with as little effort as possible, because that's really what we're after. So I will check in with you guys in the morning. We'll take a look at this brisket, and we will also get the sliced brisket and burn ends heated up so we have some good testing, the burn ends from this brisket versus the burn ends in the package, and then the slices from this brisket versus the slices in the package. And we're gonna weigh everything out so you know exactly how much of each you would get. So with as little effort as possible, I'm gonna go to sleep. All right, guys, I know that watching barbecue videos can make you hungry, but never fear. Before you run off and open a bag of potato chips and eat a bunch of stuff you're gonna regret later, let me tell you about today's sponsor, Jocko Fuel. So if you guys don't know who Jocko Willink is, he's a retired Navy SEAL. He has a podcast, does amazing stuff. But the thing I want to tell you about is Jocko Fuel, something that I use every single day of my life. For instance, today I had 2 Jocko Hydrates, and I have at least one every single day. Last night I had a vanilla protein drink. This morning I had a chocolate protein drink. This morning before I went to the gym I had Jocko pre-workout. And tonight I will probably mix up a shake with some of the Jocko protein. So basically the highest quality ingredients. Let me start with the hydrate. It beats the brakes off of any kind of hydration drink I've ever tried, and I've tried all of them. This is incredible. For those of you who like protein drinks but you're tired of chalky, tasteless protein drinks, these are great options. If you're tired of ingredients that you can't pronounce or ingredients that are artificial and you want to avoid those, this is also a great option. I love them because they taste good. My daughter drinks them. She thinks that they're chocolate milk, and I'm like, well, great, this is better for you than chocolate milk. And if you look at this, keto friendly, no added sugars, no artificial colors. It's naturally flavored. All good things. The ingredients are very transparent. It's on the back. What summarizes the brand, they put on the bottle. It says hard work, clean fuel, no excuses. The pre-workout, I love. I take it before I head to the gym. It gives me the perfect balance of like, all right, I'm ready to go, but not wired and shaky. And then the protein powder, again, of highest quality. It's got slow digesting, fast digesting, and medium digesting protein, so it'll be fueled for a long period of time. So if you're drinking this before the gym or after the gym, it's got you covered, or at any time during the day. I can't recommend it highly enough. I've tried lots of different supplements over the years. They're the best quality supplements I've ever used, and it's not even particularly close. So if you're interested in Jocko Fuel, click on the link in my description. I feel better when I take this. At minimum, I'm using the hydrate and the protein, and on days that I head to the gym, I'm using the pre-workout. Phenomenal products all the way around. Go check it out. All right, guys, it's the next morning. Our brisket that we put on the pellet grill is done. I came out twice to check the temperature, and I'm resting it in foil. And I ran the stopwatch the entire time I was doing anything out here. So we have 8 minutes and 38 seconds, almost 8 minutes and 39 seconds. So that was checking temp, and then I go back inside, came out again and checked temp. And then I was like, ooh, I think this guy's done. Rest in foil. Now it's just sitting in the warmer. Now it's time to make these 2 pre-cooked products. The first one, burn ends, I have to put these in the oven for 20 minutes. And then these, I thought, you know, I could do the microwave version, but I don't want to do the microwave version. I want it to be better. But both sets of heating instructions use the microwave. The microwave only version is 2.5 minutes, and then you take it out, put it back in for 2.5 minutes. The other version is a stovetop saute, which is kind of a different product than a slow-cooked brisket that's been sliced. So normally I would do what would be a kind of a better version, but this kind of changes the nature of what we're eating. So I'm just going to go with the basic microwave instructions. So microwave on high for 2.5 minutes. You take it out, you separate the brisket, you put the pouch back in the microwave. So I'm going to heat both of these up. We'll weigh the brisket from the pellet grill, see how much food we actually got, and then we're going to do a taste test. Is this worth it? $50 worth of brisket? How does it taste? That's the real measure, because this is convenient. If it tastes really good, if it's even close, you know, that might be worthwhile. All right. Some people get their barbecue from a bag. Reminds me of Rocky Top. Get your corn from a jar. Lovely. 1 tablespoon of water coming up. Coming up! Into the oven at 400 degrees for 2 minutes. Did I say 2 minutes? If I did, I meant 20. We're having a little husband-wife dispute on what exactly I said. The video will show the evidence. I'm not sure I want to go to the instant replay on this. I'm not feeling good about it. All right, sliced beef brisket, 1.92 pounds. The burn ends were 1.77 pounds. So a little bit more here. Let's see what we got. Ta-da! Place brisket pouch in microwave safe dish. Cut slit in pouch to vent. Microwave on high for 2.5 minutes. Slit in pouch to vent. I don't know how I feel about microwaving something in plastic. Don't feel great about it if I'm honest. And now we wait. One thing I realized, at least about this brisket, is that a lot of what you're paying for is going to be like that liquid that's in there. The ingredients are beef, water, dextrose, seasoning, yeast extract, beef stock, beef fat, onion powder, dehydrated garlic powder, cornstarch, salt, soybean oil, potassium lactate, sodium bicarbonate, seasoning, celery powder, natural flavors, or cultured celery powder, sea salt, and beet powder. So I wonder if they're actually smoking this, or if they're using some of those ingredients to artificially create a smoke ring. Let me check this Kirkland one. Beef brisket, water, salt, molasses, brown sugar, maple syrup, coffee, white pepper, onion powder, black pepper, modified rice starch, garlic powder, yeast extract, citrus extracts, dried vinegar. I don't see any liquid smoke in there either. Nice. Carefully separate brisket slices in pouch. Return brisket pouch to microwave. Microwave for an additional 2.5 minutes. Carefully remove brisket from pouch. Serve as is or with your favorite barbecue sauce. I think maybe if I just jostle it around a little bit. There's so much liquid in here. 2.5 minutes. Let's go. All right, let's see how we did. Looks pretty good. They're using all kinds of other liquid. I think we can. All right, first I'm gonna cut some slices because we have some slices to compare to. Then I'll cut some burn ends because we have burn ends to compare to. We'll taste them all and let you know what we think. Not bad. Not bad at all. Rendered fat well. I'm pleased. Looks pretty good. Juicy still. Really, for zero effort, just pretty good. And cut some burnt eggs. Oh yeah. I'd say it's not dry. Burnt ends. This is actually kind of disappointingly good. For a choice brisket, fat's rendered well on top. Obviously super juicy. Let's cut some burn ends. And we could separate this point into a bunch of burn ends if we wanted to. For the sake of simplicity, I'm going to choose one burnt end and one slice. This is going to be our zero effort pellet grill brisket. But look at this though, it's ridiculous. All right, first we'll start with the tasting of the brisket slices. As you can see, there's a whole lot of water in there. Water and microplastics might make for a delicious combination. Technically, I think it's probably beef broth or something. All right, one thing I'm noticing is you see how, obviously it's not dry, but you see how it's kind of got a grayer color rather than a brown color? This is something I talk about all the time. I wonder if we can actually legitimately demonstrate it here. Okay, I don't know if it's showing up on camera. This looks gray. This looks like it's brown. This looks like a shade of gray. This looks like a shade of brown. So that's something that happens a lot of times depending on the equipment you're cooking on. This does have a smoke ring. This does have a smoke ring. Not really a huge difference. Maybe a slight edge to the pellet grill. But let's taste. Microplastics. Nice and tender. Tastes kind of artificial. Not bad. I'm not picking up any smoke flavor. Getting something a little tangy, like there's some kind of acid in there. I don't know if it's vinegar or what. It's not bad. It tastes like roasted meat. So, not off-putting at all, but I don't really taste any smoke. Maybe they're using a very light smoke. Let's try one of these burnt ends. Or actually, hold on. Let's try the pellet grill zero effort. This is disappointingly good. Got some crispy bark. Fat's rendered beautifully. It just disintegrates. The texture on this is totally different. And I think that has to do with the color. When you cook a brisket, without very much airflow. You might reach tenderness by breaking down the connective tissue, but those muscle fibers are still filled with water and they're still tight. So here it's tender, but it's a different texture. This is a softer, like, texture that gives when you take a bite of it. Man, this is good. All right, if I'm giving scores, the microwave brisket, 6.5. It's not bad. It's not off-putting at all. But when I want barbecue, it's not what I'm after exactly. So 6.5, totally fine. The pellet grill brisket, I give a 7.9. Like, it's solid. Like, it's not mind-blowing, but it's good. I would have to go a fair distance to get better barbecue than that. Now, burnt ends. Okay. I think this is just point that they've sliced up, maybe. Just holding this, it's hot, but it feels like you could break a window with this thing. I mean, it's not soft, but let's see. Not smoky, not really tender, not juicy. Far worse than the slices. I give this a 2.1. It kind of has a weird chemically taste that one didn't have, despite being cooked in a bag. It reminds me of the flavor of a McRib when you get a McRib at McDonald's. I don't know if it's something similar in the spices or how they process it. I don't know, but something gives me that same flavor. Yeah, those burnt ends are not it. Let's try the pellet grill burnt end. Not even close. Erica just said she thought the pellet grill burnt end was amazing. Surprisingly good. Crunchy bark. Oh. All right, let me give you my thoughts, but I think Erica has some tacit thoughts. She just ate her third pellet grill burnt end. Pellet grill burnt end, I'd give that a score of 8.1. Like, I mean, if I had that anywhere, I think, that's good. Not as rich in smoke flavor as you would get with an offset, but the smoke is definitely there. We got fat rendered really well. It's tender, it's juicy. It's all those things, especially for a choice brisket. So, I'm going to get you final weight on this choice brisket, the one that we cooked in the pellet grill, and we'll compare it to the 3.7 pounds or so for the pre-cooked stuff, and we'll weigh in with a final value assessment as well as flavor assessment. The pellet grill brisket, not including the stuff we cut off and ate, was about 6.5 pounds and $70 for this. Plus maybe figure $10 in pellets. I don't know how much it would be in electricity. We'll just say total cost on that plus salt and pepper, let's say 85 bucks for 6.5 pounds of finished product. With these two pre-cooked ones, we have 3.7 pounds, so a little more than half, but a good portion of that is water. Actually, I'll tell you how much of it is water. I'll weigh it out for you right now. All right, so we got minus water, it's about 3.2 pounds of meat that you get from the burnt ends and the sliced brisket that's pre-cooked. So we actually have double the meat. It's significantly better. So in terms of value, if you have the equipment and the time, I would go pellet brisket all day. You saw that you can trim it quickly, season it, throw it on, and walk away. Granted, you are gonna need to be around, so it's not quite the same thing. It's not quite an apples to apples comparison, but what I'm trying to do is figure out, is it worth it to buy these? Now the slices, I thought they were fine. They weren't bad. I mean, they tasted pretty good. Didn't really taste any smoke. The texture wasn't perfect, but it was fine. I think that if you serve that to people, most people would think, this is pretty good. The burnt ends, I didn't care for really at all. And this pellet grill brisket, while it's not gonna win awards, it is gonna be really satisfying. So if I need barbecue in a hurry, I'd probably take those vac sealed bags, get the sous vide set up, and throw them in there. It just seems like a better option and ultimately a better value for your money, which is surprising. So if we do cost per pound of this stuff, of actual meat, it was $50. The value here for this pre-cooked stuff, we're paying about $15.6 a pound. When we compare that to the pellet grill brisket, it really does. I was trying to maybe undersell the effort a little bit. You have to know how to trim a brisket, but if I compare it to this, it ends up being $13.08 a pound by our calculations for the finished product. So, flavor-wise, I would avoid the burnt ends. Brisket slices taste fine, but they don't really taste like barbecue. And the pellet grill brisket, while it's not gonna compete with the likes of Franklin Barbecue or Goldie's or Bar A, like the shirt, It is good, and people will eat it and they'll think, oh man, that's really good stuff. It might seem like a convenience to get this pre-cooked stuff, but I think ultimately, in the end, you're going to be disappointed. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. I hope it's been helpful to you. If it has, hit the like button and subscribe below, and you'll be subscribed for more fun and informative barbecue content. You can follow me everywhere at Mad Scientist BBQ. Thank you. I'll see you next time.